Always meditate before thinking and acting. Always meditate before thinking and acting is law 11 of the 12 laws of inner peace. If you don't have a copy of the PDF that breaks down the 12 laws of inner peace, then you can go find that at the website mindfreed.org. Go to resources, and then you can download the 12 laws of inner peace. So meditation is thinking, but your mind is really miraculous because your mind can think. It can process millions of pieces of data within 1 second. So how do we tap into this miraculous ability? It's almost as if we're a superhero. In fact, in many science fiction and superhero films, they explore the concept of a person being able to freeze time. Have you ever seen something like that be depicted in a television show or a movie? Someone being able to walk on a scene, maybe they snap their fingers, and then everything freezes, and everyone just pauses. And only the main character or the heroes are still able to move and function at a normal speed. Well, this is a miraculous superpower. This allows them to take their time and decide what they're going to do, how they're going to handle a situation, how they're going to overcome a difficulty, right? This has been played out in sitcoms, this idea that people could just freeze time. Wouldn't it be nice if you could freeze time? When you're in a conflict, when someone's yelling at you, when someone's confronting you, if you could just pause, get everything to freeze, and you could take your sweet time just deciding, how am I going to handle this? How am I going to deal with this particular situation? Well, that's what meditation really does. It gives you the ability to basically process millions of pieces of data while 1 second goes by in the real world. In fact, in this one movie, I think it was X-Men, there's a character called Quicksilver, and he's so fast, as they depicted him, that it was like everyone was standing still, but time was still moving in the real world. It's just that he moved so fast that when they made us go at his speed, it made everything else look like it was going slow. And that's how your mind can work. If you tap into the power of meditation, within 5 to 7 seconds, it's like you're freezing time. Because in that short amount of time, there's a lot of pieces of data that you can process. So allow the seconds to pass by. Don't feel like you need to quickly respond to everything all the time according to a rhythm in a conversation, or because someone's putting pressure on you, or because people are making you feel like you need to respond, or because you're afraid of what people are going to think or they're going to say if you don't respond quickly. Slow everything down, even if it causes someone to feel awkward, even if they ask you, hey, how come you haven't responded yet? Just slow everything down, because it is a law of inner peace and healing that you always, not sometimes, not occasionally, you always pause and meditate before speaking and acting. So sometimes you got to put that finger in the air like that, because the person's like, hey, where are you gonna, you just put the finger up, because you got to let them know, just give me a second. Let me think. What you're saying to me is very important. I appreciate your thoughts. Let me formulate a response to that. It's okay to make people wait. In fact, it's necessary in order for you to respond as your best self. What really is your best self? Well, the highest form of yourself is the conscious self. It's the wise mind. The conscious version of you is what shows up when you're awake. And the subconscious version of you is the lower self. It's automatic. It's not even really you. It's just a reflection of you. It's your computer system. It's autopilot. The subconscious is amazing because we can train it to know how to do anything for us that we do often. Again, we can train the subconscious to know how to do anything for us that we do often. If you walk often, your subconscious can walk for you. It can control your body and make you walk, and you won't even be thinking about walking. It's not conscious anymore. If you can play basketball, your subconscious can learn to play basketball so that you don't even have to think about it anymore. And so professional athletes actually purposely train their subconscious to automatically respond so that they know whether to go right or left, and they have all of the right ways of acting, the most beneficial ways of acting, automated into their subconscious. But you cannot allow your subconscious to rule you. And that's what happens when we live according to the feels, the emotions. And those feels are not going to let you pause and think. The feels are going to say, quickly respond, quickly say something back, yell back, scream back, hit, knock something down. Basically, anything that you've ever done that you've regretted has been due to a lack of proper meditation ahead of time. You failed to pause, analyze, scrutinize, and make a wise decision. Every time you make a mistake, it's because of a failure of pausing, meditating, right? Virtually every time. Because we're actually wise enough to make a high percentage of very good, high quality decisions. Have you ever done something and said, oh, I knew better than to do that? To do something, but to know better than to do it, but you did it anyway, is the definition of foolishness. It's knowing what to do, but not doing it. So that was your moment of foolishness. If you don't want to be a fool, then pause and think, meditate, so that you can access that knowledge. That's why we're meditating. We're accessing the knowledge. When you take the knowledge and you actually use the knowledge, oh, I know what to do here, so I'm going to do it. I know what would be best. I know what would be beneficial, so I'm going to do it. When you act according with the knowledge, you create alignment, and that alignment is wisdom. Wisdom is acting according to the knowledge, putting the actual data into application is wisdom. That's intelligence. So if you like to be intelligent rather than foolish, then you need to pause and think. What are we thinking about? Well, we need to analyze what's going to be the best thing to do in any given situation. This is hard for trauma survivors because trauma survivors are often in hyperarousal, right? Hyperarousal is when you're in trauma mode, so you don't feel like you can relax or focus. So you're like, I can't relax. I'm in, right? You're too anxious. You're too sad. You're crying all the time. Just crying. I'm just crying so much you don't understand. When you're keeping yourself or you're allowing yourself to be stuck in hyperarousal, you're allowing the emotions to hijack you. Now, if the emotions are controlling you, that's like having a horse that's doing the steering and riding the human. It just doesn't work that way. Horses can't ride humans. Only humans can ride horses. We are meant to be the head. You are meant to be the head of the self. You are meant to be the leader, the chief of the self. So step up, become the CEO. If you recognize you're in hyperarousal, it's your job to pause the physical body. Go into breathing, deep breath in, slowly push out through a circle, deep breath in, push out through the circle until we start to access the thoughts. Okay, now I can think. What am I going to do here? Pause everybody else. Put them on pause. Don't say anything. Don't do anything. Because anything we say or do could lead to regret when we haven't taken the time to meditate first. Many trauma survivors have hypervigilance. This is where they believe that they know what someone's feeling by watching everyone's actions, by reading their eyeballs, by scanning for threats, and that interferes with their ability to settle down into a meditative state. Because when you're meditating, the only thing you're vigilant for is looking inside. What's in here? That's what I'm looking for. What's in here? I'm not looking for what everyone else is thinking out there, right? So we gotta turn off the hypervigilance. How do we do that? By changing our belief system. Simple facts. New belief. I don't have the ability to read people's minds. Correct. It's adaptive. New belief. I don't have the ability to read people's hearts. New belief. I don't have the ability to know a person's intentions. New belief. I cannot read the vibe. I can't read their energy. New belief. I am safe no matter what they are feeling. Does that make sense? Those beliefs help us to lock out of hypervigilance. When we think, I can read people's minds, I can read the vibe, I can read their energy, I already know what they're going to do before they do it. When you think that, that's magical thinking, and as a result, you'll be stuck in hypervigilance, watching, scanning, staring everywhere into people's eyes, body language, listening to how they walked in the door, and all that's got you. How can you meditate? How can you think? There's no peace there. There's no peace there. The trauma survivor does this because they want to feel safe, but you're looking to the wrong thing for your safety. Your safety is not in the other person. That's not where you derive safety. Your safety is in your personal boundaries. And in order to set a personal boundary, you need to be tuned in to what you're personally feeling, because our boundaries are derived through the feelings of, for instance, discomfort. When someone's making you feel uncomfortable, then you know now might be a good time to set a boundary. If you don't pause and meditate, then you don't even know that you're feeling uncomfortable in order to, right? You can't pause and set a boundary if you don't know you're feeling uncomfortable. Is that making sense? And so you access your feelings, you access your discomfort by locking into meditation, pausing, listening. How do I feel right now? Why do I feel this uncomfortable? What can I do to protect myself from this? What can I do to end this? And then we can set that boundary, even if it's over their behavior. You have the authority to do that. Say, hey, I don't like it when you talk to me that way. Making sense? Sometimes we have difficulty meditating because of the emotional dysregulation, like hyperarousal. We are feeling like we're too busy anxious or too busy angry, right? So the anger takes over, the sadness takes over. Again, in those moments, we need to take control of the physical person. You need to sit down. You can start with breathing. You can start with grounding techniques. Grounding techniques are just ways of bringing you to the present time. A good one is, what are 5 things that I can see? What are 4 things that I can hear? What are 3 things that I can feel? What are 2 things that I can taste and 1 thing I can smell? Or 2 things I can smell and 1 thing I can taste, right? And so as you go through that process and you slowly name all of those things according to their numbers, and you think about each thing, it helps you to get your mind out of where it was, which was a negative place. You were somewhere in catastrophizing or negative thinking or, right, reading people's minds or fortune telling. So we got to bring all that or push all that out and bring ourselves back here. We wake up to the present. Okay, I'm grounded. Now, what's next? Okay, to get out of emotional dysregulation, you can use propitious questions or you can use the JOT method. Propitious questions is a micro meditation. That's what a propitious question is. If you don't know how to do a propitious question, here's how it's done. Start it off with a why, right? And you're going to think of your objective and then ask why your objective is the case and aggrandize the self in the process. I'll demonstrate this for you. Most of the time when we're going into emotional dysregulation is because we have detrimental thinking. So what is our thoughts? Why am I so upset right now? What am I going to do? What's going to happen to me? Am I on the wrong course? Is everything going to fall apart? am I safe from this guy? Is this guy going to come after me? And when we're in that, we're in the detrimental, and we stay there. And then we're going, well, why do I feel so bad? Why can't I ever get out of it? Why aren't I healing? Right. All of those things you're doing are asking questions. When you pose a question to your subconscious mind, the supercomputer, will try to answer the question. So if you say, why am I stupid? Your subconscious mind will basically say, well, because you failed the test in fifth grade, and because everyone calls you stupid, and because you feel dumb when you try to get around other smarter people. See the problem there? The subconscious mind isn't broken. I'm just giving it the wrong prompts. I'm giving my AI the wrong prompt. So the AI is now working on trying to tell me why I'm so worthless, because that's what I asked. So the propitious question halts the negative rumination by hitting it with something your mind may have rarely seen before, which is a question that's to your benefit. That's what propitious question means. It's a very quick micro meditation. It looks like this. Instead of saying, why am I worthless? I'm going to say the complete opposite. Look at my objective. My objective is that I feel worthy. So I say, why am I worthy? Then I aggrandize. I say, why am I so worthy? Why am I amazing? Why am I excellent? That's asking a propitious question. Or instead of saying, did I make a mistake? Am I going to regret this? I switch it to a propitious question. What's my objective? Well, my objective is to feel confident. So then I say, why do I have nothing to fear? Why have I succeeded regardless if a mistake was made? Why am I going to be a success no matter what? Why is my success an inevitability? And with all that aggrandizing, you know what happens to the brain when you do that? Stops. You'll feel it. You feel your mind actually halt. And you'll be like, whoa, it's like a blank slate. What just happened? What just happened is we stopped the rumination. You were wondering how to stop it. We just gave you a quick shortcut, stopping the rumination, asking a propitious question. Then you keep going with your propitious questions. Why am I so great? Why am I going to overcome? Why can nothing stop me? Why am I wonderful? And then what happens? Your subconscious mind starts working on answering the propitious questions. And these things are aggrandizing. These questions are very aggrandizing questions. So then the subconscious mind starts answering, and you know what happens? You start getting good chemicals. Why am I going to be a success? Well, because I was born for success. Well, because I know what I need to do. Well, because I have the training, I have the knowledge, I have the talent. You start talking to yourself like that, your subconscious starts finding things like that. I'm already feeling the rush of chemicals. Actually, just doing that illustration, I feel it. I feel the serotonin and the oxytocin. I'm getting chills. How did all that happen? I got myself out of emotional dysregulation by taking control, getting in the front seat, saying, hey, wake up, wake up. What am I going to do here? What am I going to do? I'm going to make a propitious question. Bam. You can also use the jot method. You're going to write down on a piece of paper what it is that's bothering you, what's causing the anxiety, what's got you torn up. And then you're going to drop. It's a stop, drop, and roll. So you stop, write down the issue, and you're going to drop. The drop process is asking yourself, why is that so important to me? Why does that bother me so much? Why does it scare me so much? You keep asking. Even when you give yourself the answer, you ask it about the answer. Okay, but why does that bother me so much? Why does that scare me so much? And then finally, you're going to come out and you're going to role play the situation. Put yourself as the parent, the mentor, the wise guide. You have someone who's the adult child. They're talking to you, and they give you the same scenario. You're doing this all on a piece of paper. You write down what you would say to your kid. And as you're doing that, chemical reset, anxiety gone. This actually solves your anxiety. Depression gone. This actually solves your depression. You're not a prisoner to your emotions. I know they feel very strong, but they're not there to be your boss. Stop allowing them to control you, because that allows other people to control you through your emotions. Don't let your emotions take control. You step up into the driver's seat. We do that through pausing, meditating. Before we think, before we act, before anything, we pause and we meditate. Does that make sense? Negative thinking, a lot of people say, I'm an overthinker. You're not an overthinker, you're an underthinker because you only see one side of the issue, all the negative. And then you say that's overthinking, right? So they don't call you back, they don't text you. Oh my God, what if he's in a car accident? What if he's this? What if he doesn't want me anymore? What if he's cheating? What if he's in a relationship? What if what if he hates me? Did I say something wrong on the last thing? Right? And you overthink. That's not overthinking, that's underthinking. That's remedial. It doesn't take a great mind to think of all the negative possibilities. You haven't done anything. All you did was just allow the emotions to take over, and you wanted to live in the fear and the pain and the anxiety, everything that is negative, everything that is detrimental to you, that is not of the light, is of the darkness. That's where you sat. That's underthinking. If you come out of that and you think a little more, you'll actually be able to get into actual thinking, meditation. To do that, you can just create a rule. I prefer the 4-to-1 rule. 4 positive thoughts for every negative one you have. But even if you just do 1-to-1, it's still going to pull you out of overthinking. Oh, what if he got in a car accident? What if he's not calling me because he doesn't like me anymore? Whoa, wait a second. Wake up. I'm negative thinking right now. This is underthinking. So what do I need to do? Okay, 1-to-1. I did 2 negatives. What are 2 positives? 2 positives are he could just love me so much that he's just trying to figure out what he's going to say. Or another positive is he's just in the shower and it's not a big deal. Oh, I feel better already. What do you know? I feel like I can actually cope with having to wait for this text message response. What do you know? Maybe I'm not too traumatized to do a relationship. I just needed to learn to stop underthinking. And then what happens? You get the text message. Hey, sorry, I dropped my phone in the car crack, in the crack between the seat and the middle of the car. Oh, I hate that. Blah, blah. Oh, I love him so much. This is great. Right? All the overthinking and which is really underthink, all the negative mindset is keeping you from tapping into the full power of your brain. So let's pause and meditate, not just in a negative way, before we speak, before we act in every situation. There's an endless number of reasons we need to do this. Meditation gives you clarity of mind. Meditation reduces your stress. Meditation heals mental illness. Meditation increases your focus. Meditation enhances your creativity. Meditation improves our ability to regulate our emotions. Meditation heightens our awareness, our self-awareness, our understanding of our motivations, our understanding of our intentions, our understanding of our emotions. Meditation makes us better at solving problems. Meditation increases our energy. Meditation gives us resilience. People who thought positively could jump higher in a study. Studies show that people who meditate more heal faster from physical illness. I don't know why. I don't make the rules. I'm just here to report them to you. Meditating gives you a greater sense of purpose and alignment with where you want to go, who you are. One of the main things you want to do when you're pausing and meditating is asking yourself, what's my purpose? What's the purpose? What's the objective? And does this align with my purpose, my objective? I was outside goofing off with some of my friends. We were outside of an apartment building, and a man came out of his apartment building. It was late, admittedly. We knew it was late. He came out of his apartment. I paid $1,300 a month to live here, he says. Just a very brief meditation makes me know that we're in the wrong here. We need to bid our farewell and leave. right? We're disturbing this person. But had one buddy in the group decided she wanted to get in an argument with the guy. A little pause, a little meditation can save you from so much regret. So, you think you know what to do? Let's tap into what tool we can use. How about the rule of 7 seconds? By now you've got that memorized, right? Pause 5 to 7 seconds before responding to anything. Especially in the beginning, we need to practice this. This is one of the first things we need to do when we start our healing process, right? It's so funny. People think that healing is like sitting with your legs crossed somewhere in India, and then like somebody like waving a blanket over you or something, or chanting or something like that, and you're going through like this spiritual process. And you're no. You need to learn to pause and think. Meditation is not something that's unobtainable. It's just a fancy word. It's a fancy word for think. That's all it is. We need to do less of this, less of the talking, more of the thinking. When you're in session with your trauma therapist, don't talk the whole time. Just talk half the time. 50% of the time you talk, but listen and think. Think about what they're saying. Think about what they're throwing back at you. Process, how could I apply this so that I can change, that I can grow? When you're in school, when you're listening to a good sermon, pause and meditate. How can I apply this information in my life? How can I let it change me? Visualize, right? 5 to 7 seconds will change your life. It will change your relationships. You'll actually be able to have a relationship. Do you know what happens to a relationship when nobody pauses 5 to 7 seconds before responding? It doesn't last. That relationship will not last. That's a near guarantee, unless these people are naturally positive thinkers. Scientists have noted you have to have 5 to 1 positive interactions in a relationship in order for the relationship to make it. If you're having 1 to 1 negative to positive, it's not going to make it. So we need to pause and think. The rule of 7 seconds is a good rule to tap into, to remind yourself. And you practice through repetition, practice through repetition, practice making people feel awkward while they wait for you. You have the right to think before you speak. You have the responsibility. Another great tool is visualization. Every athlete uses this. That's to actually picture in your mind you properly completing the step. So you visualize yourself setting the boundaries. You visualize yourself walking across the stage, getting your dream car. You visualize yourself. And when you create that vision, then when you open these actual eyes, you are actualized, because now you can align what you're seeing in the physical realm with what you've created through your visualization in the energy realm. And then, bam, eventually you will make reality bend to line up with what you've created energetically. And a quick reminder, if you're meditating, there's no proper way to sit or stand. You can pause and think anywhere. 5 to 7 seconds is meditation. Doesn't need to be a half hour every time. But if you want to lay down and meditate, that's great. You want to take your eye mask and drape it over your eyes while you meditate. If you want to cuddle up in a blanket and meditate like that, that's fine. Well, what if I fall asleep? I would say that's a good thing, right? Sleep is good for the brain. If your body falls asleep while you're trying to meditate, that's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you failed at meditating. If anything, that was success, because it means you reached a point of relaxation. And what good is meditation without relaxation? That was a successful meditation. I'm sorry. So if you meditated and you only made it like 2 minutes and then you fell asleep and then you wake up a half hour later, you go, ah, that was good. That was a success. Good job. Good job. You reached a state of meditation. You slipped into a trance and fell asleep. That's amazing. Yeah, welcome to mental health. If you're worried about missing things, just set an alarm before you start meditating. That's all. Just set your alarm. Okay, wake me up at this time, just in case I might fall asleep. And then go there. Go into that state of relaxation. When we meditate, we slow down the brain waves, puts us in the theta state, and it allows us to penetrate that subconscious mind so that we can train it better. It allows us to think and to analyze. You can become new. You can become a new person through meditation. So pause and think before everything you do. That's law 11 in the laws of healing and inner peace. Always pause and meditate before speaking and acting.